I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to align your deeper intelligence with your desires every single time. And there's really no exceptions to this. I found that if I align my deeper intelligence with my mind's intention in a precise way, and I consciously direct my energy, my consciousness, my intelligence, my life force towards, I don't know if I said life force twice, towards my intention, and I do this consciously, what happens is that I get what I want every single time. This isn't some magic. It is kind of magic, right? Because when you learn how to channel your life force towards your mind's intention, it is magic. But I'm going to share with you how to do that in this video every single time. And yes, it's magic, but I also think that this is innately natural to every person in this universe. But we just forget. We forget that we create our own world, that we create our own universe, and we start to believe in stories that are out of alignment with our intention. And then so we're fighting with different reflections of ourself. We're fighting this war, and I'm not saying that war doesn't exist, but we're fighting, in my opinion, an unnecessary war, where all we have to do is learn to channel our intelligence in the right way, and we can have exactly what we want every single time. In my experience, that's what it is every single time. Contrary to what some people might believe, in my experience, it's every single time. So let's talk about that in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do actually post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, all the details for that will be down below. I recently just launched email coaching, as well as there are a couple spots left for my one-on-one coaching program. Once again, if you want to know the details for that, it'll be down below. Now, what I want to start off this video with is the understanding that what you want to do is pick your thoughts and do it consciously as possible. Direct your mind consciously. Direct your mind consciously, because the thing is that what we've been conditioned to believe in many spiritual circles, and or maybe we just forgot how to do this just because we've been conditioned in society. And I don't want to say like, oh, we've been conditioned as like a negative statement in terms of like somebody attacked us or something was wrong. I don't know what happened in perhaps our life where we forgot how to direct our mind consciously. That's another topic for another time. But the power lies in this present moment now, where we can see that in this moment now, we have a choice to pick our thoughts and direct our mind. Whatever happened in the past, in terms of why we forgot this power, let's just save that. Let's leave that. Is it practical to look at that? Perhaps not. So the key is to pick your thoughts now. And although you've probably heard this in many law of attraction videos and in some other spiritual videos even perhaps, what I think is that we don't see the significance of picking our thoughts consciously. Like if you're not directing your mind consciously pretty much every single moment of your day and noticing where you're going, you're going to be kind of pulled into other people's universes. And I don't want to say that's necessarily like a good or bad thing, because it can kind of sound like somebody's controlling you or manipulating you, but really what's happening is that you're allowing your own self to be pulled in a direction that is out of alignment with your intention. Although this sounds obvious, although it sounds like, Francis, isn't that just common sense? Is it? Is it? In my reality, kind of is. But, and I don't want this to be the case, but like, I don't know, I'm kind of in my own little world right now. My network is relatively small. I don't like to have many people in my life. I like to have a small amount of people that I really care about. So I don't really know what's happening in the mass consciousness too much right now. Of course, if there's something bad that happens, I'll figure it out. Like somebody will tell me, I'll see it. I don't really watch the news too much either, but I'll figure it out. If I need to know something that in terms of like my survival, I'll know. But what I'm trying to say is that the reason I'm even talking about this is because perhaps in the masses, a lot of people don't see the significance of this. I'm telling you that a majority of people probably click this video and hear what I'm saying, and they'll be like, oh, I've heard that before, and then just click off the video. not seeing the significance that, like, if you're not directing your thoughts consciously, then where is your consciousness going? Where is your life headed? Where is your life being directed towards? Because, like, if we're not directing our thoughts consciously, who is? Who is in each one process? And the answer to that is quite simple. Actually, if you, and who is even you? You could say is consciousness. But again, there's no difference. I've been saying this in a lot of videos recently, between you as consciousness and you as just your truth, your reality, who you want to be. Consciousness is you. You are consciousness. So when I say you, I'm talking to you specifically as a human, and you could say I'm talking to the divine consciousness. Is there really a separation? Probably less of a separation than we've been conditioned to believe, or have been told, or whatever maybe we believed in the past. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is that if you're not in control of that process, then what is directing your life? What is making things happen? What is the result that you're going to be getting? In my experience, the answer is quite simple. It's simply an unconscious program based on something that you believe, that you're holding on to, that is out of alignment with some new vision that you want to create for yourself. So you're holding on to some unconscious program or some idea that you heard somebody say, or maybe that just you picked up somewhere or whatever, right? This is about removing any kind of blame or guilt or shame, to remove as much as possible this mentality of like you're fighting with something, or you're fighting with your own mind, or you're fighting with another person. Just to remove all of that and to see, like, okay, you know what? I want to take more control over my thoughts and where I direct my mind. And you can do that. You can absolutely do that. So you can pick your thoughts consciously much more than you probably realize. And so I'm recording this video to remind you that one of the fastest ways, the first step in my personal experience, to align your deeper intelligence with your mind's intention and your desires every single time, with your true desires every single time, is to, number one, pick your thoughts. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you is to use your mind, or it will use you. Now, what does this mean? If you don't use your mind, your own mind will kind of like collapse onto itself, in my experience, and like use you. If you don't expand outwards and use your consciousness intentfully and consciously, of course, and with purpose and integrity, and to be as honest as possible with who you want to be and align yourself with that, your mind will like collapse onto itself. That's what I mean by like it will use you. And you'll fight with other reflections of you. You will fight. You will get into like this frantic, chaotic war kind of energy. And it's very important to be conscious of this, because it's like, one thing that I also believe is that if you don't use your mind, you'll lose it. Have you ever heard of the quote where it's like, use it or lose it? That's kind of what I'm trying to say. If you don't use your mind, it's almost like the universe or life itself, in a way, will show you, it'll teach you a lesson. It will show you the consequences of like not being conscious with your intentions. That's what I've noticed. It's like if you don't use your mind consciously, you're free to do that. You're free to not use your intelligence consciously. You're free not to be a conscious creator. You're free to do all of that. But then what happens is that you just kind of see what that's like. And then in my experience, you just create like a terrible reality. I don't know how else to say it. You just create chaos. You create like absolute and utter chaos. You create just a terrible reality. You know what I mean? So it's like either use your mind, or it will collapse onto itself, and like it will like use you in this way where you're basically just going to be like fighting with your own shadow. It's this weird like consciousness where it's like you're judging people and you're attacking people. Like, what are you even judging? You're just kind of judging yourself, if that makes any sense. It's not exactly the truth, but because there's many ways and many angles to look at this, but that's generally speaking kind of what happens, is your mind collapses onto itself, and you get into, in my experience, an unnecessary war, chaos energy. And you could say that it's necessary from the perspective that it's good to see that contrast in order to remember what it's like to be a wise, conscious creator every moment, to be conscious with with your actions, to be in a state of action, to be in a state of flow, to live with integrity, to live with truth as much as possible, to create your own personal truth. You cannot do this, and that's fine. But again, you'll see the consequences of that. And you'll see, like, wait a second, like, I'm just creating a terrible reality. Like, I know it sounds like, I mean, it's just what it is. Like, I don't know how else to say it. You just create a terrible reality. You just create a reality that's just horrible. And because every time you go against what your mind wants or some intention, you feel it in your body. You feel it in your intelligence will communicate to you through your body's feelings that you're doing something wrong, and it's going to feel terrible. Now, within all of that chaos, your soul, or you could say your deeper consciousness that knows your intention, there's still going to be like glimpses of what you desire within that chaos, right? And that your soul or deeper consciousness is always going to see the best as much as it can if it's still shining through, right? There's still light shining through in the darkness. But it's like, for the most part, it's just going to be a terrible reality. I don't want to be too vulgar and like swear or something, so let's just say that. It's going to be a terrible reality. A terrible reality that it just sucks. It just sucks. And so what I'm sharing with you here is not some crazy thing. It's just naturally who you are. It's just naturally who we are. Like, naturally who we are is conscious creators. The question is, like, how long are you going to forget? How long are you going to forget that you're a conscious creator and be stuck in these unconscious programs? And I'm not saying that programs are bad. Programs are good. You know what I think? I think we need programs. People talk about, like, oh, programs are bad. Don't be in a program. Turn off the mind. No, you need a program. Without a program, what are you? You're nothing. You need something, but something is not contradicting the essence and the nothingness. I don't like to talk about it too much because it can sound too new agey. It can sound too unrelatable. But it's like, it's just natural. Like, being a human, I believe, is aligning your deeper intelligence with your desire. That's what it means to be human. But we pretend for how long, for who knows how long, as long as we need to, before we realize that we don't want to tolerate suffering. Realize that, oh, I don't want to tolerate suffering anymore. I'm tired of suffering. And of course, you can't get reactive or angry to the suffering, because what angers you controls you. You got to be like, okay, I just see what I'm doing and then take a different action. Because reactivity and anger and resistance is only going to fuel further that reality you don't want. You got to untether yourself from the emotional charge of what you don't want. That's the key. And this is natural. Naturally, what I've come to see is that we can be really, really conscious of the fact that when something truly doesn't resonate, you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, that doesn't resonate for me. My intelligence is telling me no. That's the whole point of your intelligence. That's the whole point of what you're meant to be doing in life. But we forget. We pretend like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I mean, I should be doing this. I feel like, it's like, no, it's like your intention. If you knew your intention, you would always know when to decline an offer, when to not take an action, when to pull back your energy and to stop pushing so hard. You would know, you would always know. But we forget our intention. So if you always knew your intention, you wouldn't have this problem. If you knew your intention, you wouldn't have a problem with people pleasing. You wouldn't have a problem with chasing after people. You wouldn't have a problem with chasing after things like money or relationships. You would not have any of these problems. You wouldn't have any problem with feeling drained in your body. Feeling drained in your body is a sign that your body's telling you that you're pushing too hard and that you're living out of line with your intention. Now, sometimes you're going to feel drained. It's normal. But if you're getting really drained and you keep going after the thing that you want, if you understood how to align your intelligence with your intention, you would stop controlling physical reality and you'd pull back and energetically focus on that situation and then come back to that situation with a fresh energy. That's what you would do. It would be natural to you. And I think it is natural to us, but we forget. Now, the third thing that I want to share with you to conclude this video is to allow yourself to want what you want. Allow yourself to want what you want. I want to conclude this video with the understanding that what you want to do is allow yourself to want what you want, because if you don't let yourself want what you want, you're going to suffer. okay? And with that, I conclude this video. I know I didn't put too much emphasis on the last point, but I just want to leave that there. Pick your thoughts, use your mind consciously, allow yourself to align with what it is that you desire, and if you really want something, want it. Let yourself want it. Let yourself be that person, truly. There's nothing off limits. Don't pretend that it's something you don't want, because it'll be harboring inside of you, and this negative energy will kind of be building up more and more and more until you own what you want. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, I recently just launched email coaching. So if you do want to be a part of that, all the details are going to be down below, as well as I have a couple spots left for my one-on-one coaching program. If you want to see if you qualify for that and if you're a good fit for that coaching program, all the details for that will be down below as well. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next